does it say unable to link to Wi-Fi? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go live and we'll just go from there, okay? The show begins now, Moon Mistress 15. We just have a couple more steps till we get to the Learning Annex. Just walk past this gentleman here, walking pretty slow in front of us. Excuse me, sir, please. Just need to make my way to the steps. Hello, everyone. Welcome, one and all. I am so excited for you to be joining us on this evening, May 26th. One moment while I check the date. May 26th, it's a Wednesday. You are here. This is eBay Power Selling 101 with Michael DeWitt. I, as we all know, assuredly at this point in time, am the titular Michael DeWitt. If this is your first time joining us here on this program, I welcome you adieu, and I will give you this as our log line. We are an adult education seminar all about selling on eBay. Myself, I am a power seller for over 20 years. Over 20 years, and each time I think about it, I get a knot in my throat. The wistful remembrance of 20 years gone by, each one as a power seller, and now I have these years of experience to share with you, my infernal marmots in the chat. And now is the moment when I simultaneously go to the chat and say hello to some people and finally make reference to the person who's sharing half of this screen. We're going to the chat here, everyone. We got some old friends here, AC Improv. It's good to see you on this evening. We're live. This is real time. Carrie the Self-Care Fairy says it feels like 1998 and I'm in Ibiza with Timo Maas, but in San Antonio. What a colorful way to describe the sensation of being there on the Riverwalk. Totally accurate, I'd say. Moon Mistress 15, we talked briefly when I was on foot trying to make it here to the classroom. Now is the part where I simultaneously finally reference my friend here. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hey, Michael. How's it going?
It's going resplendent. I'm just here doing what I do, hosting this seminar for all the good infernal marmots out there. How are you doing?
Oh, never better. Doing great. Fantastic. Wonderful. Superb.
Now I see via the context clues of your name on the chat there. Your name is Hank DeWitt.
Oh, yeah, hasn't changed since day zero.
As the gears in my brain slowly try to catch up to the premise here, my old friend, Hank DeWitt. I see you there. You're in a vehicle of some sort with a guitar and long hair.
Well, yeah, you're spot on there. But you know, some people call it a vehicle. I call it my crib on wheels.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So you are living a mobile lifestyle. You are in your car 24/7, they say?
Well, not every hour of the day, but yeah, I'd say.
Fascinating. So
27.
Here's the thing that everyone should know. We are going to get to our workshop students. Don't worry. We're just having a nice, fun chat with Hank DeWitt, who so far, other than his name, hasn't given me no other context clues as to what our relationship is. But we continue. Let's continue. So, Hank, you have a guitar there. Are you going to play anything for us?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm looking forward to. I've been practicing all the classics, the American Songbook, and so I'll take any requests from the chat tonight.
Fascinating. So we're going to begin with we're going to make this quick, okay, my friend. We're going to play a quick rendition based off a suggestion from the chat. And while we're waiting for the chat to give us a suggestion, I got to do some housekeeping here. Now, as you can see on screen here, this is... Hold on now. What is that extra layer they're doing there? Now everyone knows Michael DeWitt is a perfectionist, and he does not stand for... What's this here? Hold on now. There we go. Now, most people by now would have started the show that they host, but that's not how we do it here on eBay Power Selling 101. We got a suggestion from the chat for Pantera Walk.
All right. Let me grab my pick here. Pantera Walk.
And while you play that, I'm going to continue with the housekeeping. It'll just be sort of a William Shatner-esque vocal performance over this wonderful music. Go ahead.
Pantera Walk.
You're also going to have lyrics? Okay. Go ahead.
Walk, walk, walk the Pantera.
This seminar is brought to you for free. However, it is not free for us to produce here at the San Antonio Learning Annex. That's why we provide you with a couple of easy ways you can show some support for the program tonight. Now, we have our own t-shirt and merch shop, which you can visit by going to Power Selling 101. If you look there in the bottom left corner, right next to there, you'll see a little jar of money. That is our Venmo tip jar. Now, if you see any performers tonight that you are extra fancifully fond of, comedically, that's wise, go ahead and Venmo at Power Selling 101, and everything we get during the broadcast will be shared equally with all of our performers. We also have one more big piece of news to announce before we begin, and that is the official launch of the San Antonio Learning Annex on Twitch, my friends. It's a little different without Tom Parrott here to chime in whenever I get cast aside. A lot of self-referential fluff statements so far on the episode. Please, when you get a chance, my friends, twitch.tv/SA Learning Annex is the location for this new channel, which is going to have a lot of different, various, and equally resplendent seminars on top of Power Selling 101. I do implore you to go there. The URL's at the top of the screen. When you get a chance, follow that channel. From here on out, Power Selling 101 will also be streaming on that channel, along with some of these other resplendent seminars we have in the works. It's going to be a lot of fun. And with that, we conclude the business portion of the intro here. Now, Hank DeWitt, I still have no goddamn idea of how we're related. All I know is you have a guitar and long hair, and you're in a vehicle, which you live in. But it's fine. We've got the whole seminar to learn more about how we know each other.
Pantera Walk.
Pantera Walk, my friends. Now, we have a question from the chat. Moon Mistress 15 says, "Where is Tom?" That is a fascinating question. I'm surprised it hasn't become a part of our seminar or interrupted what we do here at the Learning Addicts so far in over a year of doing this live online pretty much every week. But Tom is routinely canceled multiple times a week for various things he's done. And until now, it's never been on a Wednesday. He's gotten scotch-free, able to run amok, but his Wednesdays have always been free. However, unfortunately, this morning he was caught banging some trash cans with a baseball bat outside of a Sears. So that's a suggestion of what happened with Tom, my friends. Hank, how are you feeling so far?
I'm all right. I'm all warmed up. Got the engine running.
Perfect. Well, I'm warmed up too, so we're going to bring on our first guest, first workshop student. They have an item that we're going to help them appraise. And together we're going to unleash the power of the sale so that they can achieve their dreams. And this is an old friend who's joined us many times. I'm so excited to see what item he has and see what nostalgic riffage goes on here. Everyone, put your hands together for Frank Anselmo.
Rhythm and blues, brother. Rhythm and blues, rock and roll, man. That was a hell of a cover of another cover, acoustically. Pantera Walk. You know, I got it. I tip my brow to you, bro.
Thank you. I tip my brow to you.
You knew no lyrics, but you did your best. That's respect.
Thank you.
Respect. Walk. What do you say? Michael, do it. Power selling motherfucker, man.
3 words that normally I would take offense to, put in a row like that. However, coming from you, Frank Anselmo, it is a vote of confidence, lovingly delivered in that sensual baritone you've made for yourself there.
Sensuality makes the world go round, bro. It's great to be back on this wondrous summer of craziness, to say the least, brother.
That's right. If you go by the meteorological calendar, summer is just right on the corner on June 1st. However, if you go by the astronomical calendar, summer starts at the end of June. These are just things I've recently Googled and I would like to say out loud for other people to know. Frank, my friend.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Where do we find you on this evening? Where are you, my friend?
I recently have been couch surfing, believe it or not. It's been a rough May day, if you will. May has been a rough, fucked up month for Anselmo, my agent, Frankie Estrella, you might have heard of. And it's been a challenge, brother. A challenge to just move on and rock on like a tour.
That's
so
right.
I'm touring from
Oh,
location to location right now.
Oh man, I feel that.
That's right.
I dig that mobile crib you got, man. I feel that
Thank
shit,
you.
man.
Thank you.
Now, I imagine that if they were to make a movie about either Hank's life or your life, Frank, you're in your vehicle or you're couch surfing, you're going through some hardships. How fantastic would it be if about 20 minutes into the movie, we dive into a fantasy element where you imagine yourselves as being your rock stars on tour. And then we realize this movie is going to be about really sad things that happen to people, but they imagine that they're in a different, nicer place.
That sounds beautiful, man.
Does
That
sound
sounds
beautiful,
like
does it not?
Yeah, it's like sounds like Romance in the Stone meets Cheech and Chong, man.
That's right.
You know, just a real rhyme and reason of things, man.
So,
Yeah.
my friends, here's the thing. We got to learn about Frank Anselmo. We know you're into music. We know you're into 90s action films.
And the
Right?
80s, brother.
That's
80s fucking horror is the only horror to watch, man.
We know that you're into Southern California amusement parks. But what I want to know is, what's your favorite snack food, my friend?
Damn. Yeah, I gotta admit, it's all in the season, man. You know, you got your nutty butter months, nutty butter bar months. You got your nice gummy drop months, gummy bears. But you never go wrong with a bag of peanut M&Ms, man. You can never go wrong with that. And if you don't want those nuggets in your teeth, just get some caramel, you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's right. So this is something that's, and everyone in the chat, feel free to sound off on this here. Something that can be very controversial is there's one camp of people who are M&M purists. Maybe they'll throw in a peanut M&M, but when they see these birthday cake M&Ms, pretzel M&Ms, caramel M&Ms, they suddenly grow an aversion to the brand that they've so lovingly patronized for years in plain and peanut form. So you are an adventurer when it comes to M&Ms, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, they even got brownie M&Ms, man. I think
Yes,
the
that's
best
right.
one.
You
But
can-
seasonal, I say 4th of July, my favorite red, white, and blue M&Ms because you ever get that feeling, get a bag of M&Ms, you're like, well, I don't want to get just 2 blues. I want to get a red and a green. But then there's sometimes only enough, like 3 or 4 left, and they're all red. But red, white, and blue, you got 3 options, kind of like with Scott Steiner's promo. You know, you got 3 out of like an odds that you'll get a different color. And I like to mix it up, man. That's good stuff.
That's right. And, I 100% agree. I think a lot of times, although maybe chemically the flavor and the composition are the same, the color of the food you're eating can give you a drastically different experience. And
On the mind, yeah, it's on the mind.
Here's something. Can I float? Okay, we're going to get to your item, Frank, but let me float something by you here that's sort of in the same realm. And everyone in the chat, feel free to sound off. It looks like Wizworld Live loves the peanut butter M&Ms. Carrie the Self-Care Fairy agrees.
Good stuff, man.
Christmas mint M&Ms in the microwave for like 7 seconds. Carrie the
Smart.
Self-Care Fairy.
I'm stealing that. 7 seconds. I'm stealing. Thank you so much. That sounds smart.
Now that sounds
that
like
sounds
7
good.
seconds in heaven to me, my friends.
Amen.
You know, Frank, if you ever try putting those red, white, and blues on your dash, leave them there in the morning, and that's how you get green M&Ms.
Ah, man, color scheming it, Mr. DeWitt. Color scheming it.
Mm-hmm.
Dig that, brother. Now, my favorite thing about M&Ms, real quick, when you're a kid and you think you can grab a bunch and run with them, and they stain your fingers and your hands, and you're a kid all day just licking palm of your hands going like, man, this candy doesn't stop giving you candy. It's like there's so much more to it. You know, almost like Skittles, but with M&Ms and different flavors. It just never ends. The never-ending M&M, man.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Many children have encountered the phenomenon of the sticky hands throughout the day. On the cheeks, on the face, sometimes on the forehead, you'll get a little food dye from a tasty treat. However, here's the thing that I wanted to float by you, and literally float by you, since we're talking about the color of food and how it can be soothing to get the right combination at the bottom of the bag.
Mm-hmm.
We'll move on from me saying bottom. We don't have to point that out.
No.
What do you think, my friend, about a clear plastic bag filled with water and then bright, colorful pieces of fruit thrown in there, and you just slosh it around and you just watch the fruit float around?
You remind me of that 90s Lifesavers commercial. Remember that with the water squirting in the
That's
big
right.
old giant ranch? And they were all so full of flavor. And the best part of that commercial was it was the singers from the intro movie Coming to America. And they had that real romantic, almost like just smooth South African hum and harmony, man. It was so nice. And you can YouTube it now. And early 90s. Sorry about that. Have a little fun out here. But those damn Adrian kickbackers are still out there, you know how this is SoCal. So I was saying, they basically, that right there, my friend, a bag full of juicy, colorful fruits in a bag of water, you say? Just a bag of water?
In a commercial, they'd have the budget to just let the water free flow and the fruit just fall through the air. But the economical homemade version of that is to put it all in a plastic bag that you can see through. Now that is just an example of a sensation, a physical sensation, a visual sensation that I find pleasing. However, another thing I find pleasing, beyond physical and beyond visual, is the spiritual pleasingness of helping someone with an item that they'd like to sell on eBay. And as I continue to talk, you've unfrozen, my friend. What item do you have for us on this evening?
Hopefully I unfroze for you too, brother. In respect to the movie Army of the Dead, which is probably one of the best fucking zombie movies I've seen in the last 20 years, or last 15 years, I have myself a very own zombie helmet workout.
Oh, my Lord, my friends. Look at this. Is that a...
It's a helmet shaped like with the colors of a brain. And what you do is once this vaccine goes wrong, very wrong, like in most movies, for a workout, you pop this son bitch on your head and let the zombies come at you because all they see are brains.
That's right. And now
you bring your machetes. You bring your machetes out and you have a good workout killing zombies. You're a zombie magnet.
That's right.
Basically.
So in this scenario you paint where the very important vaccine that everyone should get unleashes our worst nightmare of a zombie virus.
Worst nightmare. Not that it will happen, but worst sci-fi nightmare. No one thought this pandemic would ever happen.
That's true.
No one thought that there would be insane people climbing over and taking out our U.S. Capitol. But the last 3 years proved us wrong.
What you've done there is you've taken my trepidation at introducing doubt into the vaccine, and you've pointed out the fact that we've lived through events that are not unlike a zombie movie itself. Danny Boyle famously reinvented the zombie genre. He gave the zombies the ability to run fast and scale walls. I don't know if the insurrectionists were able to run fast, but they were able to scale walls. Very much like Jim from 28 Days Later, walking down the street, seeing the papers on the ground. Littering has become a huge problem in our country. I saw someone throw a bag of Wendy's outside their car at a very short stoplight. But let's get back to your item here, my friend. Obviously, we're not yet quite at a zombie apocalypse, but we are often bike riders, are we not?
I think we're consumer zombies. And if something seems more valuable than others, because let's not forget, when this shutdown did happen, everyone went to a Costco, a Sam's Club, and they got things that, my God, do we really need toilet paper to this day? I mean, water, yes, but we are consumer zombies.
That's right.
We will come and grab and fight and bite and steal for what we think is going to save our lives. That's the human way, zombie or not. So I think it's like, why not? And if you got to have a giant Taco Bell sign on this thing or something where people might go ape shit for, I would say in California, In-N-Out right in the back, because by then people are going to starve for it when there's no more truck delivery drivers and no more cattle places. Because who knows? Maybe the next virus might take out our meats. We can't cut them no more. We can't eat no more. We got to go vegan. I'd beat the shit out of someone for a double-double after that.
And
Maybe like 3 months.
so in this scenario, people wear fast food brands on their helmet of fast food brands that no longer exist. Is this the case?
Yeah.
Sort of
people will come at you thinking you work there and you can fight them off. It's a workout helmet, basically.
So it's essentially Mad Max Water World, but rather than there being no dry land or no water. Hey, what about that, huh? Let me ask you here. Do you think Waterworld was a direct response to Mad Max, but with just the opposite? Where instead of having no water, they had no land?
I gotta admit, I think we're confusing the essentials to the story, because I recently barely saw Waterworld because I was told it was so bad for so many people, but I loved it. It's way worth it. But I remember the essentials in Mad Max was gasoline.
Is that true?
And I think in Waterworld, it was Waterworld's basically dry land. They wanted to be able to grow plants.
Now, let me split the difference here, my friend. I do believe Lord Humongous was there for the gasoline. However, in the most recent Mad Max, which
Fury Road,
Fury Road, I believe, wasn't water not a valuable resource? Can we get a fact check?
I think what we can do is meet in the middle, sir, is that the Land Before Time was essentially the same story as Fury Road. The Littlefoot had to find his way to the Great Valley, and that female had to find her way to the Great Valley that was actually dried up, because they passed this giant desert toward the ending and met a bunch of refugee female fighters. That was a beautiful movie, by the way. Thank you for reminding me about Fury Road.
Well, thank you for reminding me of The Land Before Time. Furiosa, famously based off of Littlefoot, and the character of Mad Max based off Petrie.
Those are good times. For those that don't know, please rent, buy, watch, download. I would donate some money for you to rent The Land Before Time. It's a glorious Daniel Bluth movie. It's basically...
Now, you've frozen again, my friend Frank, and I've got to tell you this year, this helmet you have is one of a kind. It looks like a limited edition brain rocker cap brought to us by the Huffy brand. So I want you to make sure you take some well-lit photos of that thing. In the description, I would encourage you to put in as many Land Before Time, Secrets of Nim, Even though this doesn't belong, all dogs go to heaven. References that you can.
Then they do. We know they do. They came
That's
from
right.
heaven just to say hello for a little while.
Now, we don't have time tonight because we're going to bid you adieu here in a second, my friend. But I leave you with this rhetorical question. All dogs go to heaven or Oliver and Company? Don't answer that. It's a rhetorical question. And we leave you that with there, Frank Anselmo. Thank you so much for joining us, my friend.
Love you, brother. Thank you, Mr. Duet. Be safe, everyone.
Be safe, my friend Frank. Oh, is that some dirty freak folk you're playing there, my friend?
Oh yeah.
I just want to point out that I still have no single clue as to what our relationship is, Hank DeWitt. But I enjoy having you here.
I really wanted to ask Frank if he calls his close relatives my friend as well, but yeah, we didn't get to that point there.
No, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because that reminds me of most of my questions and deviations from the topic at hand are about as revelatory as your question about whether he would call his family my friend. You're fitting in quite good. I'm starting to think that maybe the DeWitt is a clue that you are related to me. Probably a very obvious cue. The clue.
Could be. Yeah, it could be.
I want to remind everyone, Michael DeWitt's Improvers Unleashed is on the lineup at the San Antonio Learning Annex. We're just trying to find a date. The nation's top headlining improvisational actors will be joining me for some good old-fashioned impro. None of this defiled improv. This is 100% spoiling impro with a little bit of a UK by way of Los Angeles, the Compass Players in the 1970s impro, as taught to me by Frank Denise. No relation to Frank Anselmo. They have the same first name. Now, my friends, joining us next, we have our second workshop student. This is someone that I am very excited to meet. Unlike Frank Anselmo, who is almost here every week now, this is a new workshop student that we are having joining us this evening, Kimberly with an E.
Hi.
Hello, Kimberly. How are you on this resplendent evening?
Okay. My night's just getting started, so I figured I'd just stop here before I just go out,
Now, I have to ask you this, Kimberly. Are you in a location on this planet Earth where it is morning, or have you slept in and started your day at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time?
I'm staying at Leo's right now, and he has a special habitat that always makes it look like it's daytime, so that even when it's 4 a.m., it feels like it's 4 p.m.
That is first off, yes, Leo, and I think I know who you're referring to, so we don't have to say his last name, right? We know who Leo
No.
is.
You know.
That is fascinating. I would say beyond the archways and the columns and all the things most people spend money on, something that's overlooked is the ability to control the elements outside of one's home.
Yeah, Leo's really into the environment, and he wants to live in an existence that's untouched by humanity. That's
Okay,
why he
now,
only hangs out with girls who are 25 years old or younger.
so let's say here, may I make an educated guess? This is okay. This is normally not a thing you would do. This is normally a faux pas. But since you've introduced such a narrow window of age, I'm compelled to guess. Kimberly with an E? 24.
Not a day over 16. You're so funny. You're so funny.
Now, how have you been enjoying your stay here in Leo's estate?
I love it. It's pretty cool. every day we just like wake up and pick up a new bathing suit and like go out by the pool, and then like Leo takes.
Hold on now. Has the sound gone out?
Oh no. I think Leo might have discovered.
Can you hear me, Danielle? Kimberly with an E? I can hear you, Hank. Kimberly, I think.
Kimberly.
You can't hear me?
I couldn't hear you there. It sounded like your audio technology went back to a time before man existed, when no such technology existed.
He does have like cameras in every room, so we are for sure being watched. But it's cool because I like that.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm getting strong 2019 Invisible Man vibes, but we don't have to get into that right now. Kimberly, by all accounts, you're somewhere where a lot of people aspire to be. And normally, workshop students who come onto this show have an item that they'd like help with because they have a dream they'd like to achieve. Now, as we all know, you're kind of living the dream right now as a quasi-prisoner in Leo's home.
You know, I just like want a retirement plan because like once I turn 25, you just can't stay here forever, you know?
That's right. Okay, that tracks. So you still are able to have dreams in the scenario that you find yourself in.
I mean, aspire is a big word, and honestly, I don't know what it means, but I hope that one day I will escape with my life, and it would be pretty cool to like, I don't know, like wear a suit and like type on like, I don't know, a computer. Like old people, you know, they go like tick tick tick, oh wow, Slack, and it's like, what is that? I just know how to like, you know, lay a little Slack on my like crop top.
Kimberly, you are going to love coffee shops once you get out of there because you can do almost all the things you just described in a coffee shop. They've got Wi-Fi in there. You can plug in your computer and you can clickety-clack as long as you'd like, at least until business hours close, of course. However, before we can go any further imagining this future for you, we do need to check in and see what item do you have for us this evening.
Okay, so I bought this bag of white powder, and I found it on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. And I didn't tell anyone about it at the time, and now that obviously like his plane is confiscated, right. Like, I mean, Avi, you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like it's got to be worth something.
Well, you came on.
I haven't done any of it, so
that's good.
Don't know
that's
what
good.
it is.
Don't open it, Kimberly. Don't try it. Don't go down that road.
Really?
Okay? Please make me a promise.
Honestly, I didn't even do any when we ran out on like 4th of July last year, and it was like 6:30 in the morning, and I was with like Lindsay in Dubai, and she was like, do you have any? And I was like, I swear to God, Lindsay, I don't have shit. And I still didn't hand it over. So like, I feel like this is really special, and that's why I brought it to you. Tell me like what it is and what it's worth. Hopefully my freedom.
I've got good news for you, Kimberly. Not about your freedom, but about being able to sell that online. What you have there is a relic that disaster tourists around the world are going to want to get their hands on. Now, for those who don't know about disaster tourism, it is when very strange people go to very dangerous locations around the world. They go to Chernobyl where there's still radioactive effects going on.
I don't know if Chernobyl's that dangerous. Like, I was there last year being hunted by some billionaires, and it was like pretty chill. Like, I survived, and the other 6 girls who were with me didn't, but I don't think it was a disaster. It was like a fun summer.
That sounds like fun, and it sounds like you've accrued some survival instincts and survival abilities. Did you have a Geiger counter with you when you were being hunted?
A what?
How about this? Rather than me giving another example of disaster tourism, can I ask you where you've been around the world? Can I ask you here? Have you?
For sure. Yeah, I've been like to Dubai, Morocco, Taiwan. I've been to like South Africa. I've been to Chile. I've been to Australia. That was like so weird. I was like in some dude's basement for like a month. It was like when Leo was like filming the bear movie. It was really fucking weird. But yeah, I've been to like obviously like London, Paris, Milan for Fashion Week. Also like Australia. I've been to the lost city of Atlantis. I've been to like the Byzantine Empire.
Have you been to that curious cross section when the Jetsons met the Flintstones?
No.
Oh, listen. I ask that question of every guest that comes on this program, and so far, no has been the answer each time. But you gotta aspire, right? Kimberly, you taught me that just a moment ago.
I guess. Ugh, now I feel like I haven't done anything with my life. I'm literally 16 years old and I haven't done anything. I haven't been at the cross section of the Flintstones and the Jetsons. Like, ugh. I mean, who cares if I've been on like the cover of Vogue and W and L and like Women's Wear Daily and like, hot pussy lips, like on fire. Like, who cares if I've done all of that? Who cares?
Okay, Kimberly, I'm going to go backtrack on what I said. Please take a little bit of that powder. I've put you down an anxiety spiral here of insecurity. You're going to need
a Valium is what I need. I definitely need a fucking, like, I'm so stressed right now and I feel like I just haven't done anything with my life. This isn't what I came here for, I wanted like a solution and out.
Kimberly, here's what you're going to do, my friend. I've got it. I know a guy who owns a boat plane, and he can get you to that little island in Japan where they evacuated and they filmed the James Bond movie there.
I love James Bond. He's really hot.
What I'm going to need you to do, and this is unconventional because I'm not going to have you list this bag on eBay. I'm going to have you go into an IRC channel. We don't have to discuss.
That's a lot of letters. I feel like too many letters.
Fine, we're going to go on an I channel. I'll reduce it just to the I. And I want you to post this. And I want you, rather than money, I want you to request safe passage and excursion. Okay? Once you've found excursion for yourself from Leo's fortress here, I want you to try to hear the sound of a boat plane. And I want you to run in that direction. Once you reach ocean, I want you to start scouring, trying to find a cloud of mist that the propellers are surely ensconcing the boat plane in, which might hide it, but if you see the mist, that's where the boat plane is. I want you to get on that boat plane, and I want you to fly to this little island in Japan, which is now abandoned, that they filmed James Bond in. And I love
islands. I do love islands.
The burger
Have
restaurant?
you ever been to Epstein's Island?
No, I have not.
It's like really cute. It's really fun.
Fun fact, usually whenever Jeffrey Epstein's brought up on this seminar, I go very quiet while Tom Parrott jumps in, my co-host, and handles it. But I'm flying solo here.
Is he with Epstein? I heard that they're on like another secret island and like I don't have like the coordinates or code to it, but it would be really nice to see Jeffrey again. He was kind of like a dad to me.
I'm realizing now that you may not get news or Reddit in the fortress. Some things have happened to your old friend there.
Really?
Tom Parrott is safe. He was just canceled this morning for hitting some trash cans with a baseball bat outside of a Sears. But he will be back next week.
That's so mask, like, ooh, aggro.
That's right.
Adrenaline, a manly man.
He was actually
What
a little
happened
league
to
bat.
Jeffrey?
Should Hank? Hank,
Yeah.
should we break the news as to what happened to Jeffrey Epstein?
You know, I'm sorry, I kind of zoned out there. I was just looking at that bedspread and just I'm longing for the days that I could stretch my legs out and get a full night's sleep, but
Yeah,
sorry.
you're not really allowed to sleep. It's like just for visuals. Leo likes to make sure we're very exhausted every single day and we're only running on caffeine, coke, and cigarettes. He says it's good for our growing nubile bodies.
This is all information I wish I did not know, but thank you for bringing it to my attention, Kimberly. Now, a moment ago, I gave you some plans for excursion and finding a boat plane that's caught in a mist cloud. I wish you luck. If you do choose to follow through, I understand that everyone has their own journey at their own time. So if I don't hear any reports of what the
I don't know. I like the boat plan idea does sound good, but I was like, what if I just take this to Ghislaine? I could ask her what to do with it. She would probably know.
I'm gonna have a feeling that most of the associates that you, for some reason, seem to be friendly with, are not going to be available. Kimberly, I apologize. I wish we had more time so I can get into the nitty gritty of a heinous sex trafficking ring. But unfortunately, we are running out of time here. Kimberly, you've been so many places, and you've brought so much of that joy to us here over the Zoom here.
Later. See you. Give Prince Andrew my love. Bye.
Take care, Kimberly.
Hi, Kimberly.
Now, Hank, I'm going to guess something here, and you just nod yes or no. You are a cousin.
That's right.
Hank DeWitt, my cousin, everyone, is here joining us. Do you have any music you want to play for us?
Yeah. Purple rain, purple rain, purple rain, 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 rain.
Beautiful. Kimberly with an E just sent a message to us all. Thanks for being a champ. Anytime for you. I'll put on my champion gloves and ride with the best of them. Take care, Kimberly with an E. It was very nice to
Michael.
meet Kimberly with an E. I feel like most of us can learn a thing or two about having that kind of disposition in the face of adversity.
I just got to say, as your cousin, newly revealed cousin,
That's right.
I'm proud of you for your, arranging that whole jet plane escape for her. I felt like you were sort of the Joaquin Phoenix to her underage sex trafficking victim.
Now, I don't know what film this is referring to. This is the next mystery of Hank DeWitt, but I'll figure out what reference that is by the end of this program. It's not Inherent Vice, is it not?
No, it's not Inherent Vice.
It's not Gladiator. All right, we have one more workshop student who's joining us. I'm very excited to meet this person. They're Kimberly with an E asks through the Zoom chat, the professional. I'm pretty sure it's not Leon's the professional.
Although Joaquin Phoenix was fantastic in that one.
He does a fantastic Gary Oldman.
Oh yeah.
Let's see here. Every time I pause, that's where I imagine what Tom Parrott would say in that moment there, you know.
Yeah. Let's pull up an SNL sketch real quick here.
You want to pull up an SNL sketch?
Yeah, we'll save it for the end.
All right, then. That's a very subtle Tom Parrott reference there. I don't know if anyone else remembers that character detail about Tom Parrott pulling up SNL clips. But let's continue here. We have one more workshop student. This is, I always want to try and pre classify people as either an old friend or a new friend. And I know it's a 50-50 shot, but I always try not to get it wrong. I'm going to go with new friend. Candace Dion, are you there, my new friend?
I am here, Mr. DeWitt. Hello.
Fascinating. This is it's so pleasant to meet you, Candace. May I ask a question of you?
Please.
Right off the bat?
Yes, I love questions.
Have you ever dated David Byrne of the Talking Heads?
Funny you would ask that. In the 1980s, before I was born, he was in Texas, and I fell in love with him. As in my spirit, he was shooting a very little-known movie called True Stories.
That's right.
And I even have the advertisement right here. I won't sell it, but...
Now, I want to remind everyone that this is an unscripted program, and that was fantastic. That was a newspaper advertisement for True Stories?
A newspaper advertisement for True Stories from the Los Angeles Times when it was released in some 1980s year. Yes. Pure and jubilant. I never got a review like that.
Oh, are you someone who works in a field that is often reviewed?
Oh, you are too kind. I so appreciate that you recognize me. Yes, I am the preeminent actress at the Gaslight Baker Theater in Lockhart, Texas.
Okay. Now, I like to pride myself on my erudite vocabulary, pay no credence to the hums and haws and pauses in between the intellectual words I use. Now, preeminent means before. You're the first in line, is that correct?
I was the first in line. This iteration of the theater was founded in the 1920s as a silent movie theater, but a live theater opened. I was in the opening production of Steel Magnolias, Shelby Eatonton, Young Ingenue, and I've been a star of that community theater ever since.
Fascinating. Also fascinating loyalty you've shown there, Candace. A lot of people I know will try and they'll try and parlay their success at one theater into a position at another. But to hear this here that you've sort of shown loyalty to the same theater through the years, you're very much what we call in the theater industry the Joey Votto of theater.
Oh, absolutely. The Gaslight Baker Theater is my home. It's my home away from home. Sometimes I even live there because during the pandemic, the restaurant shut down, and so they graciously let me stay in various places around the theater. I just really honestly love it. I live and breathe theater. I couldn't stand that the show did not go on for the past year. I'm going a little crazy, but we are auditioning for Godspell. That's coming up. So I'm very excited.
Now, I'm going to tip my hand here because I know Steel Magnolias. I've heard of Godspell. However, my knowledge of theater is quite narrow and limited. So I'm going to ask you here, while I impart some wisdom of eBay onto you, if you can impart some wisdom of the culture and artistry of the theater on me. For all I know are the plays The Piano
Piano.
by August Wilson. The piano lesson?
Yes. Oh, the piano lesson.
That's right.
I see. Yes, okay.
I also know Communicating Doors.
Sure.
Do you know the Communicating Doors play?
I do not.
Very popular at community colleges. What else? What other plays do I know? Hank, I'm
Glass
sure
Menagerie?
I never saw Glass Menagerie. However, Hank DeWitt and I, he's my cousin, we did see the producers at the dinner theater
Oh,
in Claremont.
just beautiful, beautiful production. Hilarious production. I never got to do well. In my elder years, I would love to play one of the old ladies.
Oh, they're fancying after one of the main characters. Is he not sort of a Lothario to attract funding for the theaters? It's not true.
Exactly. So something to aspire towards.
Maybe I do know more about theater than I give myself credit for.
Everybody does.
Candace, let's see here. I have another question for you, Candace, related to the theater. If two actors are in a acting class, right? And one of them starts to get a crush on the other. God forbid. God spell forbid. And then one of waiting for Godot spell forbid.
Oh, you are charming.
The Lady Killers, the movie with Tom Hanks that the Farrelly brothers did, forbid that one of the actors that has the crush on the other finds himself without requisition or requiting. The scenario goes on despite my voice trailing off. Now let me ask you here. If these two people find themselves in the scenario, it is upon which one of the parties to never ever return to that acting class again? Is it the party that fancies the party unrequited, or is it the party that received the fancy and did not requite?
Oh, this is the age-old, this is the story, Mr. DeWitt. It is the one story. If there's one story in the whole world, it's this one. I think the responsibility is on the one who's being pursued.
So you'd say it is upon them to leave the class, not tell anyone, give any reason, just vanish and never be heard from again.
I would say so. Because if you don't have the courage to stand up and say, I don't like you, you get out of here, then you shouldn't trod the boards.
Fascinating. So, okay, well, this is good to know. And anyone in the chat that's listening along here, if you've ever found yourself in a scenario that we've described where two actors fancy each other in a class, there's unrequited emotions, and who should leave the class unannounced and just never be heard from again? Is it the person who does the fancying or the person who is getting the fancied? And by the way, when I first started the scenario, I did not think I would repeat it 4 times in even more convoluted, confusing language. It's just the way it came out. So if you've ever had an experience like that, we'd love to hear about it. But for now, let's go with this here. So let's do a role play. Would you mind doing a role play, Candace?
Please, I love role play.
So I only know role play in the context of impro. So I'm going to be using impro tenets here. So I'm going to be very emotional. A word you say may trigger a secret memory in my mind that no one will ever know, but I will, and it will come through my performance. I'm just giving you a heads up there. Okay. So I will be, and classically, like in impro, we will give ourselves the roles ahead of time, and we'll plan out the beats of the scene. I am going to be the fancier, and you shall be the fancied, Candace. All right? And we've just done a scene. Hold on now. There's some crashing above stairs of me. Never mind that. we're going to do a scene from, what is that? Into the Woods. Or we've just done this. We've just done a scene from Into the Woods, and now we're in the hallway, and we're having a conversation. And from there, that is when the improv begins, my friends.
Into the woods, into the woods, into the woods.
The tip of the trees, the tip of the trees, the tip of the tree.
Witchy,
Yes.
witchy, witchy, witch. Ya, into the woods.
Anna Kendrick was a duck, and so am I. Oh, that was fascinating there. That was a resplendent rendition we did in the classroom just a moment ago. Clarice?
You are so talented. Spencer.
Now, speaking of Into the Woods, I have a question for you, Clarice. I noticed that you have an enamel pin on your vest of a hot dog.
This old thing.
Yeah, it's an enamel pin of a hot dog. Do you like hot dogs?
Oh, I love hot dogs, Spencer. You know that.
Of course I do. For secretly I've been studying you. In the nights when you thought you were alone, I was there, providing just the right appropriate amount of affection from afar. And now I must ask you, my fate in your hands, my many splendored cloths under your feet, please do not trample on my dreams. Please do not tread on me, Clarice. Will you allow me to take you to thine Wiener Schnitzel this afternoon after class? For a date?
Oh, Spencer. I have an appointment after class.
Did you just say the words appointment?
I did just say that I have an appointment with a travel agent after class.
A travel agent? My father was a travel agent.
Oh,
And he traveled so much as an agent that we never saw him. So I have a deep abandonment. That is my secret thought. That I don't tell anyone about for this scene. All right.
Yes.
So, impro close. So in that role play we just did there, Clarice, you did not say, "I don't like you, get the hell out of here." So you would be then forced to no longer attend the class. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you had your moment to stand your ground, to plant your feet, to clear the airways, to talk from the diaphragm, project to the back of the rows, and say, "I do not like you, get the hell out of here." And instead, you made an excuse about an appointment.
Oh, yes. So often I am in your shoes. That's why I think the rejecter should be the one to leave.
The rejecter should be the one to leave, yes. Do you ever find yourself after an especially arousing improv scene somewhat out of breath?
Oh, all the time. And you know how much courage it takes to ask someone out on a date?
It takes an infinite amount of courage.
Yes. And you know how much courage it takes to open up your ribs and yank out thine heart and hand it to somebody else, only to say, "I have an appointment"?
Let me posit you another scenario, my dear Candace. Now imagine we are two students in an acting class. One fancies the other is the fancied. The fancier says this upon you, improv on. "And with my last dying breaths, I, Spencer, would apologize to you, Clarice, for bleeding on thine shirt."
Oh, thank you. This old thing, it's nothing.
And improv close. Now, can I ask you a question? Now I feel as an improver, I feel confident, considering you an equal in this sense.
Yes.
After an improv show, after the audience has gotten their post-improv show refreshments and appetizers,
Yes.
and after the interns have finished corralling everyone out into the outdoor garden for a second round of appetizers and refreshments, we both know it's customary then for the improvisational ensemble repertory players to make their way down in a single file line out into the outdoor garden behind the theater and to mingle among the watchers of this improv show.
Yes.
And as you know, each improv show is $75 a ticket. Do you ever find yourself in conversation with a watcher of improv thinking, did I just give this gentleman or woman or person 75 smackers worth of heart, passion, emotion? Did I earn this? Improv on. Yes, sir, that was a mighty fine... That was a mighty fine guffaw you did there in the third act. We could hear you backstage when we were writing on a whiteboard what scenes we were going to do.
Oh. Oh, you.
Impro close. See there? Sometimes I find myself in situations much like that, and as a preeminent actor...
Yes.
And we will get to your item, by the way. Where do you find confidence in those moments when you may be lacking?
I skirt the issue. I create a diversion. I don't hear it. I pretend like it didn't happen.
Fascinating.
Yes. It works well in community theater, but yeah, I wouldn't take that technique to Hollywood.
Well, next time I am in a Hollywood outdoor garden after an improv show, I will remember to mind my P's and Q's and to acknowledge directly whatever has been saying to me without any deflection at all. Candace, speaking of not deflecting, what item do you have for us this evening?
Oh, well, since I have developed a bit of a name for myself over the years, I have been, Southeast Texas's #1 ingenue for such a breadth of time now, over 20 years. And I thought I would try my hat at selling some of my old headshots. Oops, what am I doing? What did I just share?
You shared a tri-headshot with 3 different looks of a very precocious young Candace.
Yes, exactly. This is what I would like to sell on eBay. Not many people have seen it. It is what they called a composite back in the day. You've got your 9-year-old freewheeling kid in the denim cap. You've got the 40-year-old in the scarf, and then you've got the fresh-faced ingenue front and center. She can do anything. Candace Dion. I'm open to autographing it, but I'd need to put the name of the buyer on the autograph so that they don't turn around and resell it.
Right. You do not want someone to flip this piece here. You want them to appreciate it as their own in their collection. Can I point out in the large composite photo how similar a young Candace Dion looks to a young Leo?
Young Leo DiCaprio.
Has Candace Dion ever received that for this photo in particular?
Wow. what food for thought, especially since he's just been revealed as a sex ring leader. So
Well,
I don't know where to put that, but I like it.
thank you for contextualizing it for those without a long short-term memory. Okay, let me get this clear here. Is this a master copy of the headshot, or is this a reproduction?
Oh, well, would that affect the value?
Well, it may not affect the value, but it's going to affect your audience. We have people on eBay who are more archivists, who they don't collect for pleasure, they collect for compulsion. So they need to have the original. They need to make sure that it touches no light, and they enjoy the whole rigmarole and process. Then we have those who are more leisure, casual headshot collectors who don't mind if there's a crease or two in there. They're happy just to frame it and have it on their coffee table or hanging up on a mantle. And that would be for reproduction. They would probably prefer reproduction over the task of having to maintain a master.
Ooh, wow, am I ready to give away the original? Sell it. I mean, I could get real dollars for this, can't I?
For the most part, so long as nothing goes afoul, you will be receiving real dollars through eBay.com. The only time there is an exception for that is if you are selling currently any sports trading cards or Pokemon trading cards. Those are being traded exclusively through cryptocurrencies as well as other dark web barter systems that frankly, I'm not going to get into. So rest assured, if you had to pick, now this, if you had to play a game with these three headshots, one, you had to take them out for a coffee date. The other one, you had to be their roommate for 2 years on your first trip to Los Angeles. And then the other one, you have to break it to them that their positivity is very obviously just a thin sheen over what is a crumbling, imploding self.
Coffee date, roommate, thin sheen. These are the choices?
That's right.
Okay, I would go on a coffee date with a backwards baseball cap.
Okay.
I would live with scarf. No, I would live with Leo DiCaprio, although I'd be afraid of being sold into slavery.
That's right.
And I would break it to the scarf that she's headed for a road to nowhere.
David Byrne's Road to Nowhere. That was on True Stories, was that not?
It was.
Now, a lot of people confuse the two. There's the True Story soundtrack, which has a couple of Talking Heads songs performed by the Talking Heads. Wait a minute. No.
The soundtrack is entirely performed by the Talking Heads, but in the movie it is not.
That is correct. And then the album, True Stories, is an album with songs that are on the soundtrack, but it is an actual album. But there is a soundtrack version that has the in-movie renditions, as well as, I believe, some talking scenes.
That's troubling evidence. I've never found the cast recording. Please send me a link. I would love it.
Now, everyone in the chat, if you know the link to the cast recording of True Stories, John Goodman's in the film, is he not?
Oh, yes. Yes, people like us.
Please send the link to Candice Dion. Now, Candice, I know I'm looking here at the clock and we've taken quite a bit of your time. I do appreciate you staying on here with us and being a very new friend. My advice to you with this piece here is to list both. list both an original and a reproduction. I think the reproduction is going to sell quicker, but I think the original is going to be a good lesson in letting go of material possessions and these things you're holding on to, and remembering the actor's credo to live in the moment with nary a backpack on thine back. That's right.
Okay. Did I get the quiz questions right?
You got
That's what
them
I wanna know.
resplendently right. Backwards Cap is going to give you an interesting story on that coffee date. Leo DiCaprio is going to be your 2-year roommate who you're going to, one day you're going to want to kill them. The next day you're going to be crying into each other's arms. The third day you're going to be laughing. It's going to be a roller coaster, but you're going to look upon those 2 years with great fondness. And then, of course, anyone that can see this photo knows that the third one is just about to crumble and have some kind of episode. I'm not a psychologist. I am not going to deem what kind of episode, but it's going to be an episode.
It is. It's the Gilbert Grape years, isn't it? That were roommates.
That's right. He also filmed the one that he tried to block the release of. The one where it's just a bunch of friends talking in a kitchen.
I thought I was pretty when I was a young teenage boy. Scene.
That was a resplendent impro. That was a 32-minute impro we just did. Now, many people don't know this, but before the seminar, we both said impro on. And this entire episode has been impro.
Yes.
Hank DeWitt, do you want to introduce your actual identity now that we are no longer in the world of impro? You're muted, my friend. You are muted.
Oh, what a dish.
That was a delicious dish there, my friends. Candace, thank you for staying with us. I want you to stay on screen here as we say a final impro close to all the infernal marmots that have joined us this evening. Justin Freakin', you came in there at the end with those troll doll emojis, and I see you. And so does Carrie the Self-Care Fairy. I'm assuming you know each other. Hopefully you know each other. Perhaps Justin Freakin's a celebrity. I don't know. WizWorld Live, thanks for joining us. AC Improv, I saw you there earlier in the broadcast. We are going to be back in 2 weeks. And remember, we have just launched the San Antonio Learning Annex Twitch channel, which is up here at the top of the screen. In future weeks, you will see Power Selling 101 there. We have 3 or 4 other seminars that are in talks to be throughout the month. It's a worthy follow, so please, once the seminar's done, twitch.tv/SA Learning Annex. Click follow, and we'll let you know when we have some interesting things for you to watch. And now, Candace, without giving anything away, you may recognize someone who is potentially going to be doing a seminar. Is that not true?
Oh, I recognize. I do. I don't know who you're referring to, but I know that I recognize them because 'twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe, all mimsy with the borough groves, and the mum rafts outgrave.
We're going to leave this seminar with one more thing, and that is the very real fact that a half-Mexican, half-Cuban, 20-year-old boy played the main character in the Irish play Dancing at Lunasa. He memorized 4-page monologues and tried his best to have an Irish accent through each and every one of them. And on top of that, this boy had a crush. Speaking of crushes in the theater, He had a crush on the makeup artist who was there opening night. And in between the 4-page monologues, the young boy went out into the hallway and he saw the makeup artist who he had a crush on leaving the play halfway through, walking down the hallway. They made eye contact and she made some awkward allusion, very much like your impro about having an appointment, breaking this young man's heart as he was wearing what I imagine were the same clothes that Will Smith wore in The Legend of Bag of Ants.
A broken heart is good for the soul. It's good for the creative soul, Mr. DeWitt.
And I thank you for reminding me of that, lassie. Now,
You did good, lad. You did good.
That'll do.
That'll do. That'll do.